Hello, friends, and welcome back to the only show on YouTube where the host will freely admit he teared up at a robot kid in a video game. Welcome to episode 32 of the Have I Told You About This Show? Now, this week, my mind and my time have absolutely all been about Capcom's newest game, not called Resident Evil Requiem or Street Fighter 6. I'm talking about Pragmata. The game is unlike any other in all the best ways. So stay tuned as I cover it in depth and I will tell you all about it. As always, thanks goes out to each and every one of you who's taken the time to like, dislike, throw Coke at the screen, subscribe, or tell your friends about the show. I would not exist without you, and for that, you have my sincerest gratitude. All right, let's get on to Pragmata. Today, as I mentioned, I'm going to be telling you all about and breaking down Capcom's brand new experimental IP game, Pragmata. It's a new sci-fi action adventure that blends third-person shooting with real-time hacking, as well as surprising emotional storytelling, yes, in a Capcom game, awesome environmental exploration, and one of the most unique companion systems in modern gaming. As well, this is a hacking game, part of a hacking mini game that you're going to actually like. This is going to be the full picture, folks. Story setup, mechanics, collectibles, the little girl Diana's emotional arc. As I mentioned, the hacking mini game, controls, objectives, game length, new game plus, critic reception, Steam numbers, Easter eggs, every detail you need to know. I've not been able to stop thinking about this game since I started playing it, and its impact on me has been great. And my mind's been on it all week long, so I want to let you know all about it and show you that it's truly the mark of a great game. As I tell you about it, I'll be rolling some footage of the game for you to see. All right, let's talk about the story. Oh, this will all be spoiler free. I would not dare spoil anything about this game for you and the many, many, many surprises it has in store for you. In its only 8 to just, let's say, maybe 15, 20 hours that you'll spend with it. And that's if you do New Game Plus. This isn't one of those 100-hour open world games. This is very focused, and it keeps you focused the entire time. You play as Hugh, a hardened space engineer who begins the game with a very clear flaw. He doesn't like children. And why? I mean, he's a space engineer. Who cares if he likes children, right? Well, you'll find out. He even mentions so multiple times in the early game in conversations with the crewmates that you see here. Now, I get it. Not everyone loves kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if that truly is how you feel, good for you. That's great. But in this case, it's going to be a detriment to Hugh, as you'll find out. Now, Hugh, as I mentioned, is blunt about it. He's uncomfortable around kids. He avoids emotional attachment. That's why the game's central relationship is so powerful. And I was shocked to see that as the story unfolds, you find out clearly why Hugh has grown to feel this way about kids. And it makes all the sense in the world why he does. Now, this is the type of detail and attention to detail and storytelling you seldom get in video games these days. This type of attention to that story and detail is something I pay close attention to and appreciate. Now, early on, Hugh encounters Diana. She's a small android girl who seems very curious, expressive, and emotionally warm in a way that contrasts sharply with the cold, sterile lunar facility that's around Hugh and Diana. Now, she's not human, but she behaves with a sincerity and an innocence that slowly chips away at Hugh's emotional armor. This story is about survival, yes, but it's also about Hugh learning to care, learning to protect, learning to see Diana not as a tool or a cargo, and not as a mission objective, but as something closer to the daughter he never had. I am 100% here for that. I applaud that. And I wish my beloved hobby of video gaming had more deeper stories in them like Pragmata does. Now, don't get it twisted. I also like my mindless shooters and my puzzle games without any narrative, and even my retro rewinds and Power Washer 2s of the world just as much. But when a great story comes along, I am just as much there for that as well. Now, let's discuss the gameplay and the mechanics. Pragmata is built around a dual layer combat system. What do I mean by that? Well, you have Hugh's role, and he's the physical combat. His role in the gameplay is obviously the muscle. Hugh's here to take care of some rogue AI that for some reason has turned on him, and it's out to destroy any human it can find. So that you can expect from Hugh and Pragmata is this: a ton of third person shooting, dodging, rolling, repositioning. They're all key to survival as well. But take heart, this is not a Souls like game in difficulty. Thank the Lord. Have we not had enough of that already? Managing ammo and gadgets is crucial because when your guns run out of ammo, they're worthless and they're even kind of removed from your inventory spot. But luckily, our AI robot enemies are very kind when they die, and they tend to drop plenty of new guns for us and ammo as they meet their demise. Now, using environmental cover sometimes plays a role in the game, but this is no Gears of War by any stretch of the imagination. Instead, you find yourself desperately trying to dash using your thrusters and try to get behind enemies because behind them on their backs are typically where their weak spots are. Because, of course, it doesn't make much sense to have your weak spot in front where I can just shoot you, right? But here's the key: I can shoot you all day long and it's not going to do anything to you until Diana plays her role. And we'll get to that in just a minute. Also, you should time your reloads and vulnerability windows because they'll play a huge part in your success in this game. But now I mentioned Diana's role. Let's talk about that. Diana is Hacker Supreme. Diana, on the other hand, from the get go, shows you she has the ability to hack into these robot enemies. This is done via the playing of a hacking mini game where you hold down your left trigger to aim your weapon at a robot. Then Diana points at the robot, and then this grid appears. And you are going to have a cursor that starts somewhere on the grid and a green exit. Okay. And you simply need to get to that green exit as soon as you can. When you do that, the the robot opens itself up in places, and their vulnerable spots then become available for you to shoot them, right? Also, on that same grid, you might find different little cursor tiles. They call them tiles. And you will earn these as you move along, and they will do things to the robots when the hacking is done. For example, freezing them, or maybe even confusing them so that they start shooting each other. Okay, and then again, you always end by hitting that green tile. The problem you have here is while you're playing this hacking mini game, the robots don't stop. No, they don't. And you will be shot and chased and sometimes one shot killed by bosses while playing that mini game. So getting good and fast at that is key to your success as you move forward. So it's simply aiming, doing the mini game, that goes away, the robot opens up, and then you can shoot their vulnerable spots while that's open. But it's going to close, it's not going to stay open forever. So then you have to hack it again. And the more you hack it, Diana's gauge fills up. And when the whole circle fills up, there's 10 segments of it. Then you can hit your L3R3 at the same time, and Diana just does her power move and pretty much annihilates things. Love that move, by the way. So this we're talking about real-time hacking being Diana's specialty. And as you make progress in the game, her hacking skills will grow. And you do that by spending points to upgrade her hacking ability. You also get points to upgrade your ability, such as your gun or your health. You typically upgrade three things: your health, your gun, or her hacking. Again, weak point exposure is key. After a successful hack, the robot's weak points open up to exposure. Then you must move Hugh to those weak spots and shoot them until the robot just typically explodes. And then there are crowd control hacks as well. So Diana even has these crowd control hacks, uh, as such as the ability to hack multiple robots at one time or freeze multiple robots. These come in the aforementioned upgrades that you get. So you might start in the corner and you might see a yellow tile with like a freezing symbol on it. So if I move like down and over and I move through that and then go to the end to the green, when that goes away, the robot will be frozen. Or I might confuse it and he might look around at other enemies and start firing on them. And also there are decoys that you can get, you throw down and it looks like you, and then the robots don't pay attention to you, they will go after the decoy, and then you can just hack them at will. Diana can hack them and you can shoot them, because typically they're already facing at the decoy, not you, so their vulnerable spots are available to you from the side. Crowd control plays a huge part in the game. You'll also find chain hacks and environmental override hacks as well as part of Diana's toolset. She is the key to winning battles and the very thing that sets this game apart from all of the third person shooters. There is such a sense of tension that builds as you see this huge robot in front of you and it keeps making its way towards you as you're trying to pull up that grid and get it hacked. Most of the time, once you finish hacking, you're going to need to move back a little bit because the robots will be almost in your face. That tension just keeps building, right? So you'll do this hacking thousands and thousands of times during your time with this game. And I promise you, it'll never get old. You'll never once say, I'm so sick of this, because they're constantly changing up the abilities that you get, how you go through. Sometimes there'll be red triangles, which act as stoppers. Your cursor can't go through those. Sometimes there will be anti hacking machines in rooms that are sending out these pulse waves, and you have to take those out with a room full of robots first. I mean, the tension is just so sweet in this game. You can't brute force your way through enemies. You must use Diana. She's the key to every encounter. Sure, you can try shooting the robots without hacking, but your bullets just bounce off of them, do zero damage. Right? Weak spots and Diana's hacking are the key. So let's talk just real quickly about the controls. Your left stick will move you. Your right stick is kind of the camera. Your L2 button activates, aims, and activates the hacking. Like I talked about, you'll fire with your R2 button. You can use some gadgets, and you can use the I think it's either X or A to interact and B to dodge, and then the face buttons themselves, while the hacking is up, are the thing that moves the cursor, okay, around the hacking screen. When you aim at an enemy, again, Diana projects this floating holographic grid, which you'll see in the video here. Your job is to start it wherever it starts, draw a continuous path to the exit, hit as many bonus nodes as possible, avoid corrupted tiles, and complete the route in the green exit spot before the timer expires. As mentioned, there will be damage boost nodes, which increase weak point damage. There are chain nodes where you can hack multiple enemies at once. Stun nodes where you can freeze enemies briefly. Overload nodes, which actually just causes explosive feedback. They hit and knock the robot back away from you. And then there's environmental nodes, which might open doors or disable turrets or activate machinery. The longer your route, the more powerful the effect you'll have. So you don't want to always just run directly to the green. It may feel that way when you first start, but take your time and go through every color that you can, and you'll be glad you did when it comes time to take on the robots. Now, again, let's talk about the objectives and the structure of the game. The game can seem linear, but in truth, it's very dense, and it's going to require you to backtrack to levels previously visited because, like the finest Metroid games, your first visit to some levels will see you stopped in certain areas by something you've not yet learned how to get past. For instance, in the first level, there are these like blue stalactite things that are like everywhere in the level. You can't get past them. She can't hack them. You can't do anything. You'll find a way around them later, so that will tell you, oh, now I should probably go back now that I have this power and I can revisit these levels and maybe I'll get something or see something or do something I couldn't before. And you'll see a percentage complete on each level as you see it. So you'll know where you've not 100% at a level. In fact, I literally stopped doing forward progression of my story missions at one point in the game to spend, I don't know, 2 hours going back and see what I missed. And I'm glad I did. And I'll explain to you why in just a minute. Now, each chapter of the game includes exploration of the levels, combat arenas. Sometimes you'll walk through a door, it closes, these things pop up, and the robots come. Those are combat arenas. You'll have environmental puzzles you have to solve. You'll have to do system reboots. There's going to be Diana interaction sequences where you can literally just talk to Diana. And when it says talk to her, please talk to her. Don't just skip it. You'll be glad you did in this game. There are collectible hunts. There are these little hidden robot things, and they make a noise like a wah, wah. When you'll be in a level and you'll hear that noise and go, "What the heck is that? I don't even know what this is." And later on, you'll realize, "Oh my gosh, there was a little robot to shoot in there." And if I do so many of those, I can get what's called a cabin coin. I'll explain what those are in a little bit. They're collectibles. And again, there are collectible hunts, there's story cutscenes. There's also these red doors that are locked and they need a red key that you have to find. Those red zones are way harder rooms with tons of enemies, but they also have 2 to 3 huge chests in them with great rewards that you are going to want. So, yes, they're optional, but really they're not. You're going to want to do those. Also, in pretty much all over the place, once you hit a big battle, you'll find there's a ladder that you can unlock. And that will take you back to the environmental hub. And there you can upgrade yourself, you can upgrade Diana's hacking ability, and you can give Diana presents. They're called REMs, or like the remembrance of that Hugh has. And they're things like, slides or flowers or balloons. And he tries to explain to Diana what they are, and she doesn't know. But when you go back to this area, you can set up this 3D printer to print these things out, and then she can interact with them. And it's so fun watching a robot kid who's never seen a slide try to figure out how to go down the slide. You will love it. Now, there's also this little robot that's in this area, and his name is Cabin. I don't know why he's there. So far, I've not got the explanation, but he's there, and he's got a bingo card. And what you do is you take your coins and you place them in certain spots on the bingo card. You're trying to collect bingo, right? And when you do, you can get more things. But each time you put down something, a coin on a card, you'll get something for doing it. So you're going to want to try to find all the coins that you can to fill up your bingo card. So far, I've seen 2 bingo cards. Um, it it makes a not saving point and rest point to the game, right? So what I mean by that is when you go to this environmental hub, you're going to get a save, right? You'll get to save the game. But when you do, much like a Souls game, all the robots you've killed come back, but you also get your full health back. So there you have it. But just know it's not a burden and you're not going to feel bad about having to go back and do these things. Now, you've already killed them once, you know how to do it. Now you do it much quicker. And every time you go to the environmental hub, you upgrade. That's the only reason you go. By the time you reach a ladder and a level, this game is so well designed. You've got upgrades. You've got you've got upgrade points to use and you've got cabin coins to spend. So you want to go back. And it also gives you a breather from all the action, right? The overarching goal here is just to escape this lunar facility, uncover what happened to the people and the AI, figure out what and who the heck Diana truly is, and finally just return back home to Earth. And I did mention collectibles. Throughout the facility, you are going to find collectible items, and some of them Hugh can give to Diana, like I mentioned. They're common everyday items to Hugh, but Diana seeing these for the first time through like childlike eyes, and this is such an amazing part of this game for me. You know, recently I've gotten to take my grandkids to Disney World for the first time. Now, I've been over 100 times myself to Disney World. You might notice I'm always wearing either Mickey hats or I've got Disney things on. We go constantly to Disney. We've loved it, my wife and I, ever since we were married and had kids. But I'm telling you, you can only ride Pirates of the Caribbean so many times before it just becomes a boat ride that you ride to get into the air conditioning, to get out of the overbearing Florida sun. But when my grandkids got on it, their eyes got big around as dinner plates. And suddenly I got to see the beauty of the ride from their eyes for the first time. It was such an amazing feeling. And Pragmata gave me that very feeling when I watched Diana. The very first time she looked at a balloon or a slide, I literally teared up. I'm like, she's seeing this for the first time and she's changing Hugh. She's making him grow. And this is just a video game. I mentioned the slide. I think there's a music box, there's a holographic projector, there's a toy little rover thing, there's a drawing pad, a miniature habitat model, and there's even a TV you can give her. These aren't cosmetic. They're character building moments. Every time you give Diana a gift, she interacts with it in a unique animation. And Hugh reacts, and then you react. At first, he's awkward. He's like, what do you mean you don't know about this? And then he realizes and softens up and says, oh, yeah, she's literally just a child. And then he starts watching her with genuine affection. And this is where the game's emotional core lives. This is not something you must do in order to complete this game. But I promise you, it's something you will ensure you complete totally before this game is over because it kicks you right in the emotional good feels. And doing so gives you that that feeling, you know, that awesome feeling, not only of accomplishment, but of like that you've done something for Diana as she's helping you to live in this hectic environment. The more you do this, the more Diana begins talking to you about all kinds of different subjects. And then, friends, she just walks off the screen for a minute. And when she comes back, she's got a little coloring picture that she's done for you with hearts to show you that she loves you. And I know that sounds stupid. And you're thinking, that's will have no effect on me. Wait till you get your first one and see Hugh actually put it up on the wall. I'm telling you, you will be dying to find the next present to give to her. Now, Hugh's arc is it's good. It's a good arc. He begins the game, like I said, emotionally closed off, cynical, openly uncomfortable around children, and also just totally lost by what's happening around him. But Diana's innocence and curiosity and trust begin to thaw that frozen heart of his. And by the midpoint way of the game, Hugh's body language changes. And by the final act, he's a protective, patient, and emotionally invested parent. It's one of the most unique arcs in modern gaming because it's not romantic, it's not heroic, it's not tragic, it's paternal. When is the last time you played a game like that? A man who didn't want a child slowly realizes he would do anything for this one, and she's not even human. Okay, game length. If you just do the main story, you just want to rush through, you've got kind of a Grinch heart yourself and you don't care about this Diana stuff, you just want to trudge through another video game, you're probably looking at 10 to 12 hours, okay? You're not going to find all the collectibles and gifts and you're just going to power through everything. You won't even reach the highest levels of your upgrades. But I beg you not to take this route. Please take your time with this game. Look around every corner. Try to find those little laughing robots and talk to Diana every time. You can even play hide and seek with her. Play the game with her. She gets good at it, by the way. If you're a completionist, I'm not. I don't complete every game. I will this one. I've been told it's 20 to 25 hours, and that's more realistic. You're going to open up pretty much everything, and then you'll finish the game well before that, but it turns into a new game plus, and the new game plus equals out the extra hours. In New Game Plus, there's post game challenges, additional modifiers to the game, and harder enemy variants as well. So far, most outlets are scoring the game in the mid 80s out of 100. They're highlighting and praising that Hugh Diana relationship and the hacking combat fusion, the atmosphere, the pacing. Friends, this game came out of nowhere. It's been talked about a long time, delayed so many times, people lost faith in it, and then they played it. The launch weekend saw 220,000 concurrent players, which was an incredibly strong showing, not just for a Capcom game, but for a Capcom game with brand new IP or intellectual property. Are there Easter eggs in this game? Well, if you take your time and you look around and you're a Capcom fan, you're going to find subtle nods to other Capcom games and properties. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what they are, but let me give you just a couple of examples. There's some posters referencing some Capcom games, some other RE Engine titles you might notice. And there was a certain log that you'll find. You find a bunch of logs in the game which you can read. And it mentions something about a red herb study that might have happened on Earth in the past. I think you'd realize that straight out of Resident Evil. As far as environments, you're going to find sterile research labs, collapsed industrial wings, zero gravity maintenance shafts, those are fun, lunar exterior walkways, those are a blast, reactor cores, those are tense, abandoned habitation pods, those are scary, cryogenic storage reminds you of Alien, and AI controlled server vaults, Terminator 2 on steroids. Everything feels cold, metallic, and lonely, and that only amplifies the emotional warmth of Hugh and Diana's bond. All right, that's all I've got for you on the game. Let me just say, I absolutely fell in love with this game, and I wasn't expecting to. I thought, well, first off, I played the demo. And before I played the demo, I thought, I'm not going to like this. I'm not going to be able to do the hacking and the robots at the same time. And I'd heard that, oh, it's a Souls game because you have to go, back to your environmental habitat, and then you get your health back, and then all the robots come back. I'm like, I'm not going to say and kill robots after robots after robots. I played the demo, and I encourage you to play the demo if you haven't. Just go grab it off of Steam or your console of choice. You'll fall in love with the game just from the demo, and you'll immediately go out and get yourself a copy. It's not just a sci-fi shooter. It's a story about connection, about a man who didn't want a child, learning now he can't live without one. She's literally saving his life minute by minute. And about a little android girl who teaches him how to care all over again. You'll also find out why, as I mentioned, he doesn't like children to begin with. And it makes all the sense in the world. And you'll gain a deeper respect for Hugh, who I'm telling you in the beginning, you won't care for very much. On top of that, you get a brand new style of hack then shoot gameplay that's truly addicting and stays addicting because the developers continually keep adding things to this game. Since I started playing last week, I put all other games on hold. I must, absolutely must get to the end of the game and find out all the secrets. And then I know I'll immediately jump into the New Game Plus to see what it has to offer. This game offers so much that's fresh and new in its storytelling and that hacking game and then shooting the weak points that the game never feels stale or boring in any way. Just when you think, okay, I've done this and done this, all of a sudden there's these hacking dampeners in the room, and now you can't even hack. You got to take them out first. And how will you do that if you can't hack? You'll figure it out. You just never know what you find around the next corner in this game. The game is hard, okay, but never unfair. If you die, you always know why, and you know how to fix it. And I'll guarantee you the next playthrough, you will get through it. I've not had one yet that I wasn't able to do that. Hugh has a weight, though, to his movements that can sometimes see you missing ledge jumps and platforming using your thrusters. If I had to gripe about anything, that would be it. It's not egregious in any way, and it was easily learned how to get around it with enough playtime. That's, again, more of a nitpick than anything. I have to give Capcom a huge thank you for being one of the few companies left today still willing to take a chance at new IP. Not only that, but pricing this game at only $60 instead of the full price 70 or maybe even 80. This game could have and should have been 70 if you ask me. But, nowadays any game that says it only has like 8 to 15 hours of gameplay is seen as less than. And that's bull. This game deserves its 70. I'm glad I only had to pay 60, but it deserved that extra 10. I know this game went through a lot of delays initially, but all that extra time certainly paid off because the end product is one that's top notch. And so far, according to Steam charts, is really close to the bestseller list. Okay, so now I've told you all about Pragmata, Capcom's latest successful attempt at an addicting game based on a brand new IP with a very intriguing gameplay loop of hack, shoot with the cutest little robot girl who will own your heart by the end of the game. I hope you'll take the time to either check out the demo, as I mentioned, or just go buy it. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. All right, friends, thanks for watching the show. And as always, remember, never miss out on a chance to see our world through the eyes of a child. You might be surprised what you find. I'll see you on next week's show, friends. Have a great rest of your week.